Have you ever been interested in a role? So you apply for the role, you get a call from the recruiter, and they say, hey, I know you applied to this role, but would you be interested in a different role? Has that ever happened to you? How did you respond when that happened? Did you say something along the lines of, well, no, idiot. If I was interested in that role, then I suppose I would have applied to it. You could say that, but I wouldn't recommend it. I'm a recruiter, and guess what? I've actually done this. I've called a candidate and said, what about this role? In today's video, I'm gonna tell you exactly why that happens, 2 reasons, and then I'm gonna show you the perfect way to respond to it so you maximize the opportunity. Let's go. Now, the first reason this happens is because you are not getting that job. That job you applied to, not gonna happen. They're not gonna move forward, no. Deal over, they're not gonna do it. So sometimes this happens when a candidate applies to a role, but it's a little bit late, or they already have a very strong front runner, and they're not interested in interviewing additional people. They've basically made their decision. This is the person, or we are going to hire one of these 3 or 4 people, but we have the grouping, we have the person. So when you apply, they've recognized that you are a good candidate, and there's some level of interest in you, but they know they're not going to hire you. So by asking you about a different role, they're affording you an opportunity to pursue something different within the organization. That's the first reason it happens. Now, the second reason it happens is sometimes organizations have amazing collaboration, which is a really good thing. So maybe you've applied for a role, but someone said, you know what? I know he applied to Bill's role, but I think he would be great for Nancy's role. And they recommend that another hiring manager take a look at you because they see that in your resume, there is something specific that another person has been looking for, and they wanted to make that connection. This happens in really good places to work because, again, there's collaboration, that communication has been fostered over a period of time, and people are comfortable sharing great candidates. So a few things here. If you hear that they're asking you about a different role, you've got a few different things that you can do, a few different ways you can respond. Now, to me, the first thing is, are you actually open to another role? For some people, they want that one role. And if it's not gonna be that, they're not interested in anything else. And if that's the case, you can say, no, thank you, I'm not interested in moving on. But I think there is a better way to approach it. So start by saying something along the lines of, oh, well, that's really interesting. I hadn't thought about that role previously, but I am interested in learning more. However, do you mind if I ask you a question first? Can I ask you what makes you want to offer this role to me or discuss this role with me instead of the one I applied to? Now, this does a few things. You notice in the very beginning, I say that's interesting, right? Gives you a little bit of time to think about it. I say then that I would perhaps be interested in learning more, right? So I do that. And then I ask permission, it's a permission-based question. Do you mind if I ask you something? Why are you, sharing this role with me as opposed to the one that I applied for? And this is going to give them an opportunity to share with you the why, right? Because it makes a big difference. If this other role that you applied for, if it's not an opportunity, they're going with somebody else, 0%, no shot, well, you want to know that. Because then you go, okay, well, if I want a shot at this organization, maybe I should check out this other role. But if they go, oh, well, I just have another role open, and I thought maybe you'd be a good fit for that. Because there's actually a third reason this happens. Sometimes as a corporate recruiter, you have a lot of roles, and some of them are going really, really well, but some of them are not going so well. And if you have a candidate apply to a role that's going really well and you realize, oh man, I'm already doing good here, but this candidate might be a fit here, I should ask them about that. Well, that's a totally different scenario. If they go, oh no, I just thought you might be good for this role that's also open. And now hearing that, now you have a choice. Do you go along with that? Do you pursue that? Or you go, to be honest, I appreciate you thinking of me, but this is a role that's really in line with where I'm hoping to take my career at this moment. And then maybe that gets you shifted back towards that one. But that's generally when this happens, and that's generally how to handle it. There's another really interesting thing that sometimes recruiters do. Sometimes it seems like they're trying to scare you away for a role. So you start talking to them and they say something along the lines of, oh, well, this role, it's really, really challenging. And then you're wondering, well, why did they do that? Well, I explain it here, similar to this video, but I explain why they do that, what the point is, and the best way for you to react to it. So I'm done here, but I will see you over there.